Today, we are digging into something I think we've all felt, the intention gap. You know, that giant, frustrating space between having a brilliant plan and actually doing anything about it. Let's figure out what's really going on there. Seriously, it's a feeling we all know, right? You've got the goal. Maybe it's a new workout routine, learning an instrument, finally starting that side project. You've even mapped out the steps. The path is crystal clear. And yet, day after day, that first step it never happens. So what gives? And look, we all know the labels we stick on this. We tell ourselves, oh, I'm just procrastinating, or, I just don't have the motivation today. We kind of treat it like it's this simple little flaw in our character, something we just need to power through. But what if that's not the real story at all? What if this isn't about laziness or a lack of willpower? What if your brain is actively playing a trick on you, a very specific, very predictable trick that keeps you stuck? Once you see what it is, everything changes. Okay, so let's dive into the science of why we plan but never seem to act. And it turns out the whole problem starts with how you see the person who actually has to do the hard work, your future self. The official term for this is temporal self-displacement. Now, I know it sounds super academic, but the idea is actually incredibly simple. It means that when you think about your future self, the parts of your brain that light up are the same parts that activate when you think about a complete stranger. And that right there is the whole game. I mean, think about it. How easy is it to volunteer a stranger for some really difficult job tomorrow? It's a piece of cake, right? Because you don't have to feel their pain or their effort. You just get to imagine the great result. Well, that stranger is your future self. This chart really breaks it down. The you, right now, that's present you. You're the one who feels all the effort, who wants to be comfortable right now. But future you, that's just an abstract idea. They're the ones who get all the benefits of the hard work, but their struggle feels, well, not real. It feels like someone else's problem. So of course, present you makes the easy choice. Dump all the hard work on that stranger tomorrow. And this brings us to the single biggest myth about getting things done. This idea that what we need is just a big old spark of motivation. But as you're about to see, waiting for motivation isn't just a bad strategy. It's a trap. So naturally, we think, okay, I get it. I just need to get more motivated. I'll watch some hype videos, maybe read an inspiring book, and just wait for that lightning bolt of inspiration to finally hit me. I mean, it sounds right, but it's completely wrong. Think about it for a second. The reason you're stuck isn't because you don't have any motivation. You had enough motivation to make the detailed plan in the first place, right? So the real issue isn't that you're lacking motivation. The problem is motivation itself. Chasing that feeling of being motivated, that is the very thing that's keeping you from starting. It's a chemical lie our brains tell us, this idea that we have to feel ready before we're allowed to act. So why is this such a trap? Well, for one, motivation is just a feeling, an emotion. It's totally unreliable. It comes and it goes. And waiting for the perfect move to strike, that's just a fancy way of procrastinating. It creates this horrible loop. You don't feel like it, so you don't do it. And because you don't do it, you don't get any positive results, which just makes you even less motivated. So if motivation is the enemy here, what's the solution? We need a completely different system, one that disconnects the action from the feeling. And that system is built on an incredible concept called automaticity. Automaticity, that's the goal. It's when an action becomes so deeply ingrained that it just happens. It's on autopilot. Like brushing your teeth or clicking your seatbelt. You don't have a big internal debate about it. You don't need a shot of dopamine. It just happens, like a reflex. This is probably the most important mental switch you can flip. How you feel is completely irrelevant to taking that first step. The goal is not to win the argument with yourself about whether you feel like it. The goal is to make the feeling a non-factor and just do the thing. So, how do we actually build this? It's a 4-step process. 1, you have to shrink that first step until it's ridiculously easy. Don't think I have to go for a run. Think I just have to put on my running shoes. 2, remove every possible obstacle. Put those shoes right by your bed the night before. 3, link this tiny action to something you already do. Like after I pour my morning coffee, I will put on my shoes. And 4, this is the magic part, when the cue happens, you act. No thinking, no debating. The cue is the command. You just do it. And just look at the difference here. The old way, the motivation-based way, is totally exhausting. You're always waiting for a feeling that might not show up. But the automaticity system, It's efficient, it's reliable, it runs on triggers, not on feelings. It turns that action from something that happens once in a while into something that just becomes the rule. So here's the bottom line. You have to stop waiting around for that lightning bolt of motivation to strike you. You can't control it. Instead, you need to become an engineer and start building the tracks for the train of habit. It's deliberate, it's systematic, and that train is going to run every single day, no matter what the emotional weather looks like. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about the huge, ambitious goal for just a minute. What is the one tiny, almost laughably small action that you can take today? What's the automatic first step you can build right now with no debate? Because that is how you finally close that gap and turn what you intend to do into what you actually did.